Alofa everyone, I am here with the beautiful lewa, Miri, levu, whatever you want to call her. We have just finished doing a podcast and I'm going to share some clips with you guys. On this podcast we spoke about her family's history with the Fijian coup, her relationships, her upbringing and her involvement in the Alofa program, which is based in Fiji. And it was just an amazing conversation. I just want to thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks so much for
and I hope you guys enjoyed the clips. Did you want to share any like inspiring words in Fijian or anything?
Ja, bula Vinaka ve kemnike Vinaka vitira virong chingmania kavnikwa. Vinaka le vina virong vikirao kelanga ni wakasama ni nanumatiko na lubenda lewa o kelanga ve kemni ni kendona kara ve tukuna ve kemni ni bangalal takna ya ve verna ngone lewa. Vinaka be rong di mai and yeah, Vinaka,
what did you just say?
I just thanked all the Fijian viewers and listeners that are listening in this afternoon, and that to think of our young women back home,
yeah.
And to give them a space to have a voice.
Yeah,
that's basically what I said.
And listen to the podcast with a very open mind and a loving heart, because we talk about some really intense, we talk about some intense issues. But that's what connections through conversations is all about. It's about having these hard conversations, but not being an idiot about it and taking it the wrong way. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. So yeah, definitely listen with an open heart, open mind, and I appreciate every single person who has liked, comment, subscribed on any of the content that Tima talks that I have put out there. So yeah, Vinaka, thank you so much. All right, Alofa malo so for maua malilangi mama and nisambula Vinaka everybody. I am here with the lovely levu, lewa, Miri. Is that how I say it?
Yeah, Miri.
And her and I only just met on last Sunday. We met through my previous guest, Tessa, and it has been an honor to meet her. I feel like I've known her for a long time. And before we begin, I'm going to let you introduce yourself, please.
Bula Vinaka and Malo. My name is Miri Talei Semisi, and I'm 33 years old.
And you look stunning.
Thank you.
You look so beautiful. Seriously.
I'm a mom of 4 girls,
yeah.
Aged 11, 9, 5 and 3, and what else? I've been born and bred in Fiji.
Yeah.
I did my early years in Adelaide, Australia, where my dad was studying, and I've just recently moved across to Auckland about 1.5 years ago.
And you have such an incredible story. I've heard a little bit about you last week and today, and I'm excited to share that, and you'll hear more throughout the podcast, so definitely listen till the end, okay? You're gonna love it, all right? You're gonna love it. Now, before we begin, I wanted to talk a little bit about your background story.
Sure.
You explained to me before that you spent your early years in Australia, and you talked about experiencing bullying in school. Can you tell us about that and how it impacted you in that chapter of your life?
When we moved to Australia, I was in year 2. I came into year 2 in Australia, and even at that early age, I was teased a lot because of the way I looked, the food that I ate, the texture of my hair. And as a child, like I'd come home crying to my parents. I didn't want to go back to school. Until my parents put me in another school that was a bit more a multicultural school, and I got along really well there because at that time, you're talking late 90s, Tupac and Biggie was so in there. Everyone wanted to be,
everyone wanted to be black. Yeah,
everyone would be black. So I was like pretty popular in school because I had brown skin.
Yeah, and did you pretend you could rap, or did they expect you to rap?
I had to, the baggy pants was in at the moment,
and the bandana,
and the crop top,
Yeah,
that's coming back now.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and even like the two buns.
Oh yeah,
a lot of young
with the choker,
the
black choker.
Yeah, there we go. That's
Aztec prints.
That's vintage, I guess.
Yeah. It was grunge sort of.
So that you sound really resilient because you went from being bullied to then being the cool kid.
Oh,
I would have been scarred. I would have been scarred. I would have been like, no, I don't want to go back to school. I hate life. That's pretty cool.
So we moved back to Fiji in '96, and my dad decided instead of becoming a lecturer, he had the opportunity of being a lecturer at university to teach graphic design at a degree level, but he decided to go into entrepreneurship and I'm glad that he did, because his entrepreneurship, something that's always stayed in me. When I was, struggling back in Fiji, that's how I used to hustle. I used to side hustle by doing my own business.
Yeah. And what were some of those businesses?
Well, I usually used to sell at the markets. We used to have like flea markets, like the Saturday
Rock
markets.
market.
Yeah. Sell off whatever my children wasn't wearing or wasn't using. I would. And the recent one I had when my husband came over and I was a stay-at-home mom for the last 2 years was Plus Size Lewa. It's still on Facebook. So it's a group that I formed that you could sell and trade, buy and sell plus size women's clothes.
Oh, I love that. I want to join it.
Join it, girl.
Yeah. Ladies, if you're listening, what's it called?
Plus Size Lewa Nandi.
Plus Size Lewa Nandi. Oh, Nandi. Yeah.
Yeah, because I lived in Nandi, and so it's still going. Like I allow other sellers to sell their stuff on it, so they can buy and sell, not just my stuff.
Yeah, I enjoyed, when I was in Fiji, and I'm going back in Jan, I'm so excited. When I was in Fiji, I really enjoyed Suva more than I did Nandi. I don't know why.
Really?
I think that there was more locals, and there was more it was more Fijian as opposed to Nandi, which was really touristy.
Of course,
and that's what I want to experience. I don't go to Fiji I go to Fiji to see Fijians. Yeah, I go to Fiji to go to trips.
O'Reilly's.
O'Reilly's or sand dunes. I don't. I go to anyway. I love that. Now, before we started, you spoke about your family's history, your family's background, and some of the things that you experienced as a young girl, and witnessing your dad go through. Which I'm a daddy's girl myself, and I couldn't imagine seeing that. Talk to us about your family history with the Fijian coup, and what that looked like for you.
Okay, so if you look at Fiji's political history, we gained independence in 1978, and we gained independence in 1978, and the first democratic government was formed, and after that we've always had a series of coups. So 87 was the first coup, and then it was 2000 coup,
2002, 2003.
2000 coup, then there was 2004, 2006.
One of them,
Yeah, I think 4 coups altogether, I think.
I did a quick Google search. I don't know why I'm acting like,
It's just like so many coups. We've had a history of coups ever since 87.
And what was the impact that it had on your family and your dad?
Well, I was born in 1986, so I'd call myself a coup baby because I grew up, in that sphere. And still, it's much more militarized now. Where if we didn't agree with government of the day, the military could just take over and get rid of everything. We'll start all over again. Basically.
That's intense. And so your dad was one of those people who were against it, or was he part of the previous political party?
Well, what happened was from 2004, the military took over and said, we're going to put in a sort of temp government in place.
Right.
And that temp government, when they did elections, they won it. So they became the democratically elected government, which was SDL, right? And my dad was affiliated with them. He did their manifesto, and so my dad was also on the board for the Land Transport Authority at that time. I was still in high school at that time, and so because of my dad's political affiliations with that government, we were targeted, and that's how my family moved across here 10 years ago. And we're not the only family that's been through that.
And you talked about coming home and then seeing your dad's things smashed up.
Yeah, like my dad was targeted, his car was just totally smashed up, his tires were slashed, and we lost everything that my dad worked hard for, My dad's government contracts were terminated, and we lost everything, and my dad worked so hard over the years. Every time a coup happens, it sets families back. And that's how my family came across here, and we had been separated for 10 long years until I moved across last year.
How has that transition been, moving from Fiji back here to New Zealand?
See, a lot of people ask me this, and they say, do you feel homesick because you've just recently moved? But I would say no, I don't feel homesick, and I feel like I'm at home. The fact that I'm back with my parents and my siblings, and we've been reunited, I feel that I'm home. And home definitely is where the heart is.
That is so true.
Yeah, of course the country and the demographics is different. It has its own challenges, but like I feel safe now.
Yeah, I love that, and I appreciate you for sharing that. That's really cool. I love that, and I totally relate to that because for me, my home is wherever my parents are. So if my parents moved to Nigeria, then Nigeria would be home for me.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Now speaking of Fiji, now you have had some incredible involvement in the ELFA, Alpha, and that stands for Emerging Leaders Forum Alumni, and that's incredible. We'll hear more about that, and that's more targeted that's more catered for women.
Yeah,
cool. We'll hear about that soon. But before, speaking of women, now you posted up something on Facebook and you spoke about a rape case and a mukbang video and the attitudes that Fijians have towards women. Can you talk more about that?
Well, as a feminist, we believe that we live in a patriarchal society.
Yeah.
And I think
that's true. It's not just
I think our Pacific, like Fiji, is still very misogynistic. 60% of our women have faced some sort of form of abuse, and that's been studied. It's been researched, and it's very much normalized.
Yeah.
In our society.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk to us about the rape case that just happened recently.
So one of our rugby stars, which is on the Fiji Flying Fijian, we call them Flying Fijians, like here you call them the All Blacks. One of our Flying Fijian was charged with rape. He raped a young woman.
What's his name?
Nasilasila.
Nasilasila. What's
Forgot
his
his first name. That is his last name.
Okay,
his last
cool.
name.
Nasilasila.
I don't know what's his first name. But he was charged with rape. He got 8 years.
Good.
And after 6 years,
Should
then
get
he
more,
can go on parole. Yeah. I'm not a legal person, but I think like with the 8-year term, that's probably one of the maximum that you can charge someone with rape.
Which is
8 to 10 years.
Which is
BS. Yeah.
Which is BS. Yeah. Because a woman could die from that. She's going to be.
Oh, she'll be.
Yeah, she's going to it's
affected.
traumatic. Yeah, it's traumatic for the rest of her life. So he should go to jail for the rest of his life.
Yeah, exactly. And there's been a lot of backlash from the public towards the rape victim because I feel that it's because one, not only that she's a woman, but she's a young woman. And I think if Nasilasila had raped a child or he had raped an older woman, it would be straight cut. Like, the attention would be he did it wrong. But because she's a young woman, see, there's a big question mark, and everyone becomes cynical. What was she doing there? Why was she drinking with him? How come she knows him? Why does she have feelings for him?
Who cares? He raped her. No means no.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, who cares? Because what I think I saw I clicked on the link as well, and the reasoning behind because wasn't he charged with wasn't he not guilty to
the assessors
said he was not guilty.
Yeah, and the judge overruled.
And that's just because she said she had feelings for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, duh. She obviously
she knows him.
Yeah, she knows him. Yeah. That's a sad reality for so many women in the Pacifica. In Pacific. Yeah. Gosh.
And the other recent one was that mukbang video.
The mukbang video. Now that was crazy, and I saw that as well, and I thought, okay, they were trying to be funny. It was a little bit. Yeah, it was a bit cringe because they were just trying too hard to be funny when they're probably already funny. Because I find Fijians generally funny. Like they're just funny people, and they didn't have to be that funny. But talk to us about that mukbang video and why it's so prevalent.
Controversial.
Yeah, controversial but prevalent for us to understand. I mean, the impacts that your comments and the online bullying can have on young women.
I think this is my personal view.
Let's talk about the mukbang, what happened in it, for those who've never seen it.
Okay, so it's a video. I Am Woman is a magazine in Fiji. And it was a video from that magazine. I think they wanted to do awareness on breast cancer. So they decided to do a mukbang, and I had no idea what a mukbang was until I watched that video, and I thought, okay, what is a mukbang, So they went to the supermarket, they bought some local seafood, and this seafood that they ate is really like our native Fijian seafood, It's always been something that we were brought up with eating. And it was their first time eating it.
I struggle to believe that.
Yeah.
Because saying that I struggle to believe, it's like me being born and bred here in Aotearoa and never eating fish and chips in my life. I don't believe that. I'm sorry. Are you serious?
Yeah, it was their first time eating it.
Do you believe that?
Well, I could vouch for them because my upbringing was quite similar. I never liked
your phone as sorry. Yeah.
I never liked seafood.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
I'm gonna cut that up. Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I never liked seafood growing up, and my family would know this. I've always had it there every week, and obviously in all the functions we'd see it there, but I never had the guts to eat it. And if they put it on a plate, I said no, I won't eat it. Like I refused to. And now that I'm older, like I appreciate the seafood now. I love kina.
Yeah.
I love kina. Like kina is in Fijian it's dawaki.
Yeah.
I love dawaki now. Like I never used to eat it before.
Yeah. Because it stinks. It smells.
The kina. Oh well, I don't think it stinks.
No, I'm talking about sear. Sear is this like really wormy thing in a glass Coke bottle that someone's. Do you guys have that in Fiji?
Is it green or is it blue?
It's different colors. It's like usually white, but it's sear and it stinks like. Ugh.
Oh, we have I don't know what's the Fijian word for it, but it looks like green noodles with little.
Oh, that's it. I think that's it. Yeah.
Like little kidneys or something.
Yeah, and it's in a glass bottle.
They just eat it like that, like.
Oh well, they always bring it. It's called sear anyway. Carry on.
Yeah, it looks like that.
I cannot believe that these born and bred Fijian women, born and bred in Fiji, never eaten seafood before. That's
I only ate fish growing up.
Fish curry,
like fish kokonda. It's raw fish with coconut milk.
Oh, that's the best.
Yeah,
that's the best.
I never touched anything else, so I could believe that it was their first time.
Okay.
And it's something that I feel like our Fijian culture, we're still. Holding our culture is still very much alive as compared to New Zealand.
Yeah.
And whereas our language is something that's spoken freely, and it's and if you don't know your Fijian language, it's something to be shameful of.
Yeah.
And so if you don't like your Fijian food, it's something to be shameful of. You don't talk about it.
Right.
Let alone make a video and
go like this.
And make faces. If you did that in the family table, you get a slap from your paw.
Oh yeah, of course.
Or something.
Yeah.
Like you never do that.
Yeah.
It's disrespectful and you're just acting palangi.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And that's not just in Fiji. That's in Samoan families as well. If you don't know your mother tongue, if we don't know Alofa Samoa, you're fia palangi. So, and I'm very guilty of that because I can only speak Samoan in a very in a conversation with friends. I could not get up.
Me too.
I couldn't get up and speak formal or whaalualo. I could not do that. But yeah, that's so true. I think that's like every culture.
Yeah, you're right.
Like most cultures are like that. Yeah. But damn, so do you think that the general public is quite in Fiji, the general Fijian society are quite harsh towards women? Because I saw that a lot of those comments came from women as well. It's like there's a bit of self-hate going on there.
Yeah, and personal attacks, and it was disgusting. It's bullying,
online bullying. And that's not just Fiji. I mean, any little thing that happens in Samoa Times or whatever, like just crazy, like just the abuse that happens in life.
Harassment,
in life, I think,
like just being harassed. To us, it's normalized in our society.
Yeah.
And young women, they don't say anything. Just that's why I'm very passionate with Alofa, is we advocate for women to have a voice.
What are some of just speaking of a young woman, you mentioned before that you had a baby at 22, and as a 29-year-old, I think that's quite young, because I reflect back to when I was 22. I know some people might be different, but would you feel like you're quite young, a bit young to have a child at that age?
Well, I think everything I did growing up, I did very young. I was always like, ever since we came back from Australia, I skipped a grade. So I skipped year 6 and I went straight into year 7, which is form 1. So I always hung out with kids that were older than me, and so I was vevangase in Fijian, as want to be matured and be a big girl. Yeah, I was vevangase, and so I matured really quickly. I graduated from high school when I was 16 years old, and by the time I finished my diploma in Fiji Institute of Technology, I was 18.
Wow. So is that because you're clever?
No, I don't think it's because I was clever. I think I just matured really quickly.
But you would have processed education a lot faster than other kids then, because if you had skipped a grade and...
I don't know, like they said the Australian curriculum was 1 year ahead.
What month? Yeah, it is. Yeah, because they don't have year 13 and...
Yeah, and they're like 1 year ahead of...
Right.
Yeah.
And so what month were you born in?
June.
Oh no, then you would have... Yeah, so you would have been just... Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. So by the time I was 18, I had my own place. I had my own job.
Yeah.
I already finished my diploma.
Yeah, and you'd moved away from home.
I moved away from home, and I've been away from home ever since, till we moved here.
And now, in my family, that would be a big deal, moving away from home out of wedlock.
Yeah,
in traditional Samoan families. What was it like for your parents to process that? Or is Fijians quite okay with that?
Well, I moved out because there was some differences between me and my parents, and I moved out on my own. My dad said, if you want to move back, you can move back. But because I was in a boarding school, I was very individualistic in my views, and I'd just rather be on my own. And I couldn't see myself. Me and my dad always clashed a lot because we were both very outspoken, and I was the only one that could, stand up to him. And
did you get hidings?
All the time.
Yeah.
I used to get hidings. And
big ones?
Really big ones,
yeah.
And I think that's something as it's in our culture, like as islanders, that there's a thin line between discipline and abuse.
Yeah.
And obviously a lot of time our parents go over that line. Yeah. And it affects us later on in life.
And then we get caught up in the cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. I can't relate. I didn't get big hidings. I think I only got one hiding when I was 16, because I got a hickey. Yeah, but that was from I don't know. Yeah.
Well, that's how.
And it was at church. It was literally behind church.
Yeah. I just left home, and just because of that, I got a hiding. I was 18 years old. I had my own job.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I'm still getting a hiding like I'm a child. I'm not going to accept this anymore.
Right. Okay. Interesting. Did you address it in a respectful way, or were you just like, nah, I've had it. I'm done.
No. I just told my best friend was there with me that day, and I said, I'm dropping her at the road, and I just left. I told my sister, pack all my stuff, and I just left abruptly. But I think a year after I came back to my parents, I brought the kava. Sevu. I did the sevu and asked for forgiveness from my parents, because at the end of the day, they're still my parents.
That's true. Yeah. So what were you going through during that time? Was there a lot of guilt? And that year away from your parents, was you just sitting there
it was so hard. Like my dad disowned me, he said I disown you as my child. But I was lucky that I was independent enough to look after myself. And I took it out on things that I shouldn't have, especially alcohol. To get a lot of alcohol.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine my parents being just so angry at me for too long. You know what I mean? Like I can't. I feel bad. Even like if I have an argument with my mum in the morning, the whole day I'm thinking about it.
Yeah,
and I had thinking, how am I going to apologize without her being like, okay, yeah, like no.
Yeah. Imagine feeling like that for one whole year.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's just, wow. Thank you for sharing. That's very vulnerable. And you had a child at a young age.
Yeah, I was 22 when I had my eldest one.
And talk to us about the hardships that you experienced in that chapter of your life.
Well, my partner at the time left to join the British Navy, not because he wanted to, but really because he was pressured into trying to provide for me and my daughter. And there was a lot of things at play there that made us separate. And that's just the way, sometimes it doesn't work out the way you want it. And I cried it all out for one whole weekend, for 3 days straight. And I picked myself up and put on some thick skin and moved on with my life. And I think there's a lot of preconceived perceptions of young single women, like single moms especially. And I've been there, and men think just because you're a single mom, it's an easy way to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I don't know what you mean. Sorry, I
was always been hit on by married men, or men that had partners.
Right, they think you're vulnerable.
They think I'm just vulnerable and I'm
think
easy.
Sorry,
because
I get you.
You're this young girl who has a child. Or they'll ask, well, where's the father? What happened to dad?
Yeah. Or they might be like, oh, she doesn't know who the dad is.
Yeah, and so the self-worth.
Yeah.
The self-worth of being a single mom is, I'm not worthy enough of a lot of things.
Yeah, that's disgusting behaviour.
Yeah,
men, don't do that. Don't do that if you're watching. Please, do not treat us like that. And so that's amazing. And how is your daughter now?
She's 10,
Yeah.
and she's going into her preteen years now.
Is she in? No, so she's just moved from Fiji
She
as well.
just moved
How are
recently.
your children finding it?
Oh my gosh, my girls already got the accent
Right.
and they're loving it, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Oh.
It's easy for them to adapt, whereas I think for me and my husband, we're finding it more harder to adapt. We're missing home, we're just missing the weather, you know.
Yeah, man.
Obviously the food.
Yeah. I mean, I've only been to Fiji once, and I missed it, and I love it. I want to go back.
I know,
And I
it's sort of
love it.
everything goes,
Yeah.
you forget what day it is.
Yeah. And not just Fiji, but also my own motherland. Like,
yeah.
my dad's going for Christmas, and my dad's been a few times this year, and I see his photo, and my mum, and I see their photos on Facebook or when they come back, and I'm just like, oh.
I know.
Yeah, I really want to go back to Samoa next year, so that's my goal. Talk to us about the work that you've done in Alofa, and what that's all about, and how it came about.
So when I was still at FIT, I
Fijian
joined,
Institute.
yeah, it's called FNU now, Fiji National University.
Oh,
now.
yes, yeah.
I joined a young women's leadership program that was run by the Fiji Women's Rights Movement, and it's a year-long leadership program that covers everything from a feminist perspective to do with economics, you name it, health, and there's a broad topic. You graduate and you become part of the alumni, and then from there's about 84 graduates so far, and I think there's another program that's going to happen next year. But from the ALF program, there was a group of us that formed the alumni, and we started, even before we graduated, we started to do a lot of advocacy. Like, we were so inspired to do something and to advocate and to make a change, so we started our own group and sort of started advocating on young women's rights and gender equality, just to empower young girls to have a voice.
What type of women are in this group?
So it's nothing faith-based or anything.
There's no religious foundation?
Yeah, I think Fiji Women's Rights Movement really made sure that it was a diverse group of young women. So we had young women from all different cultures and religions: Muslim women, Christian women, Fijian women, Chinese women. It was just so diverse, and sexual orientation was diverse. Lesbian women, trans women.
I was going to ask that.
Women living with disabilities. Yeah. Those mental illness survivors.
What about women in sex work? Because there's quite a few of them in Nandi.
Yeah, sex workers. Yeah. And so we were a whole diverse group of young women. So you can imagine what it was like for us to come together and try and understand each other.
And now talk to me about the reaction from the men.
Like in what perspective?
Like what was their reaction towards this group?
Well,
were they supportive? Were they calling us delusional? Or what was it?
We started coming on the news because we started this campaign, Take Back the Streets campaign, right? And it was to address sexual harassment in the public transport. Yeah. Public transportation. So we came on the news and we were sitting on the table talking to the director of the Land Transport Authority and sharing our lived stories, right? And one of our Alpha members shared that she was sexually abused by her taxi driver that used to pick and drop her to school every day. Or the kind of abuse that we'd face in the cab because we're young Fijian women. Like all the questions, so do you drink? Can I get your number? Do you smoke? Where's your partner? Those kind of things that you just don't need to deal with.
Harassment.
That is harassment. It's not trying to start a conversation or asking for your number in the cab. That is not.
It's unprofessional and it's harassment.
Yeah. Or I think one time we have a page on Facebook. It's called Take Back the Streets Fiji, where young women can come and join and they can share any kind of sexual abuse that sexual harassment they've faced, and you can say the registration of the car, you can describe the guy that harassed you. He could have just driven past, and called out some names. Yeah. That's sexual harassment.
Take Back the Streets,
Take Back the Streets Fiji,
Is that it there?
That's it right there.
Cool.
So we've got about 500 members.
Can I join?
Yeah, join.
Okay, cool. Join group. Awesome. Okay, not your uro. Stop street harassment. Amen. Gosh, I'm not your uro, okay? I am Semi Kunatani's uro.
Yeah. Back.
Yeah, back. Yeah.
But yeah, we just wanted to bring some light into that, and so everyone sort of thought, who are these angry young Fijian girls? What are they on about?
Yeah.
You know? You guys seem to be just aggro, and why don't you do something about it?
Right.
But what people don't know is we've been doing advocacy work around, and we've been running workshops around Fiji and just doing like basic like gender 101.
Yeah.
What is the difference between gender and sex, and just showing people like what gender inequality looks like in our everyday life.
Yeah. Because we're both Christians and you're very proud, we're both women of faith.
Yes.
Do you think it's possible for us, women of faith, to also be feminists?
Definitely. I mean, those are the two things that I strongly identify myself with, so it's definitely possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. No, I'm not saying I disagree. I actually have not much knowledge around that. That's me personally. I don't have much knowledge around that. So this is part of me educating myself and educating myself from women. I don't relate to too many priests because I'm Catholic.
Okay.
And I don't relate to too many priests, and I'm a woman. I don't want a man to tell me about my life.
Yeah.
Tell me about my
issues
views and my issues. You don't know me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't know. Yeah. I love that. So you think that is possible, but then you have those Bible verses, and they talk about. It's a real tough one to talk about.
Yeah, that
you don't wanna,
we need to submit.
Yeah,
wives,
we need to
submit
to your husbands, and it's in the book of something. And then also, women have to respect men.
Yeah,
and men have to love women. And these are just. Yeah.
I think because our society is so patriarchal, and when it comes to going to church and the things that they decide to preach on, so most of the time it's the man that's preaching. They always sort of preach a one-sided view
100%.
of what love should look like.
Yeah.
They don't preach it on holistically.
Right.
You know, God also says that we are all born equal under the eyes of God.
Yeah.
Whether we're man, woman, despite our gender, ethnic group. That, and also men need to love and respect his wife like he respects the church.
Yeah, that's true.
You know.
Yeah, and the thing is, as a Catholic, there's so many problems, and it's so problematic in the Catholic Church. Although I mean, the Catholic as a faith, as a religion, is perfect. I think it is, but then it's very hard because we can't engage in Bible studies without a priest present, and we don't talk to nuns as much. Like, and even then, like, they're not married, they don't have children, they don't have this, and they didn't do that. So they can't really, and that, but they can't really talk to me about my life problems. Yeah, and so it's very difficult to, it's I don't know.
Yeah, no,
I don't want to talk bad about my own faith.
I know what you're saying. Like when you talk about religion, you know, it's a political ideology in itself. And one thing is religion is there's traditions or things we do, but then the relationship with God is a totally different thing altogether.
Right. Yeah. That's so true, man. So you think it is possible?
I think it is possible. You know, I believe in gender equality. As a feminist, I believe we do live in a patriarchal society. At the same time, I am a strong Christian. Like, I believe that there is a higher being and that there is God.
And that Jesus Christ is the Son of God?
He is the Son of God. And He puts things into place in your life for a reason.
Amen.
And that we all have a purpose in this earth.
Yeah. Amen. Thank you for educating me a bit on that, and we can talk about that off the mic. You know, I don't want to. That's what I didn't think it was possible. I didn't know where to start because again, I don't have that support in my own church.
Yeah, well, there's a perception of feminists. You know, when you hear the word feminist, what's your perception of the word feminist, for example?
For me, when I think feminist, I think men hating white women, burning bras,
hairy armpits, you know,
pussy riot, nude, walking around nude.
And you're not the only one that thinks that. I think a majority of society thinks that way of what a feminist is. Yeah. But feminism is not about that. It's more to do with our gender roles and how it's so unequal. You know, it's like there's a fence, and one gender can look over, and the second can't. So he needs some blocks to stand on to be on the same level to look over that fence. Right. Yeah. And that's just exactly how we view society as feminists.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
We don't feel that we are superior to men. No, that's definitely not what feminism is about. We want to have equal rights to men.
Yeah, and that's why it's important for women to support each other. And even if you're not a feminist, that does not give you a right to trash women who are. You know what I mean? Like if you don't agree, you should keep your mouth shut. That's my views.
Yeah.
You know, but I think what you're saying, we need those blocks to stand
and be equal. And I think so a lot of women are feminists, the way they live their life, but they don't want to identify themselves as one. And that's fine. Like if you don't want to put names on yourself,
that's fine.
That's fine.
Labels,
you don't have to label yourself.
Okay.
But your principles are there, that you do believe in equality, that women can drive a vehicle just as much as a man. There are still parts of the world that women can't.
Yeah,
in Iran,
it's so true. Iran,
we can get an education just like a man. And when it comes to decision making as well, we believe, you know, as feminists, that in order for us, we need more women in parliament, in leadership roles, so that they can address our issues. And if they address our issues, then it would solve a lot of social issues in our society. So that's because you are bringing the perspective of a woman into play. If they put more money to health, because it affects us women, we bear the children. You know, the children are the vulnerable in society, and also us. If we put more energy into that rather than our military, I believe that our health system, there'll be much more healthier children, a better rate, less high infancy rate, and if women get full decisions over their bodily autonomy, they have rights to decide what happens to their body. That's another issue too, right?
I'm triggered now, so stop.
That's another issue too, where I'm trying to, you know, with being pro-choice and trying to, and also calling myself a Christian. So there are times that I do.
You're pro-choice and you're a Christian. Damn, how does that work?
Well, for me, I think it's every woman's decision. It's up to her what she does with her body.
Okay. I wouldn't speak out against. I'm pro-life. But I wouldn't speak out against the woman who wants to get an abortion. If you want to get an abortion, that's on you.
That's on you.
That's on you.
And as Christians, that's on you. Whatever, if you decide to do that, you will be answerable to God.
Exactly. Right? That's my views on it as well. It's like, okay, well, sister, that's what. Okay, cool.
I agree with you with that, right? But I also feel that it's not on us to pass judgment on any other woman that decides to do that. It's her decision. She'll have to deal with that in heaven. And we have to respect each other that way. And I think as a woman, it's not an easy choice to get to a point where she has to have that abortion. No woman is gonna say, this is my right and I just want to feel like it because I want to have an abortion and I'll just do it. No, it's a really hard decision to make. The fact that she's even thinking of making that decision is because she feels alone. She doesn't feel supported. And there's a lot of pressure. It could be religious or family pressure for her to have this image. There are reasons why women get abortion and it's not easy, or it's life-threatening, or she was raped and she got impregnated by her rapist. Like, abortion is not an easy thing to go through with, and no woman should ever go through it. And personally for me, like I have been through it, that road, and I told myself that I was never gonna have another abortion after that. And look at me now, I have 4 girls. And I've never gotten my, contraceptive. I've always changed contraceptives along the way, and I never could find like the correct one. So what I'm saying is, let's have respect, let them make the choice, whether they want to or not. But as Christians, if you make that choice, you will be answerable to heaven. Our government shouldn't impose that on young women. And
as Christians, we're not here to judge. We're here to save, we're here to love. And
we are not here to judge.
We're here to love unconditionally. And if your best friend says, I'm going to get an abortion, support her and love her and mind your business. I mean, just there's going to be quite a few people that we're talking about something controversial. Someone's going to comment, someone's going to do something. So I just want to address this. The thing is, I'm just going to share my views on abortion, and real quick is, for me, it's not about your body. this is about a living being, and you've probably heard that before. This is not about a woman's body. Abortion is not about, it's about a living being that's growing inside your body. I do not have a right to kill a life and end a life that's growing inside me because it's a life. So that's where I stand, and that's why I would never ever get one. And I also think that some of the reasons why women, because I've read on the Psalm 1 victim support group, I think, one of the comments was that the thing is that a lot of these women, they're not being educated, they're not having those conversations in the home about sex, about safe sex, about consent, about all of that. And men aren't being educated around it. You know, when a woman says no, it's flipping no. You know what I mean? Like, so that was another thing. And just adding to what you said, you know, she could have been raped, she could have been this, or she just could have just not been educated around sex. Which is really sad. I think we need to have these conversations at home.
Doesn't have the finances to raise a child.
The finances to raise a child.
But then obviously, you know, the alternative to that is, why don't you give it up for abortion? Giving it up for adoption is not something easy.
Because I've heard people once they see their baby, they're like, never mind, I'll keep it. Yeah, man. But yeah, again, we'll just to reiterate our point is that, you know, whether you agree with it or not, hey, each to their own. And that's why I really like the church family that I'm in, which is Life Church. And down south it's all about the relationship with God. And I'm someone that I don't believe in religion. Like, I just hate religion. There's a lot of traditions that you don't even understand what you're doing, and the main thing here is your relationship with God. You know, and that God manifests in you, and that you can see it in all facets of your life. To me, that's more important. It's not about judging each other on what we do with our lives. And there's a perception that Christians need to be perfect. Once you believe in God, you're a Christian. Oh my God, it's hard. It's a hard life. It's not. It's a fight.
Oh my God, she's drinking a glass of wine, or I can't believe she was over there.
I can't believe she said the F word.
Or she's associating herself with those kind of people. You know, like,
at the end of the day, we're humans. We're gonna slip. We're not perfect. So
I think it's human nature.
It's human nature. And again, going back to that, we're not here to, as Christians, we're not here to judge ever. We're here to save, and we're here to love, and we're here to spread the word of Jesus.
And we don't want to be Bible bashing. You know, your life should, I always believe that your life should, the actions speak louder than words.
What's your favorite book in the Bible?
I like Psalms 91. Because I love poetry, and I love writing poems. Songs, that's all very poetic. And Psalms 91's always been my favorite Bible verse.
I've just started reading Jeremiah. The book of Jeremiah. It's, I had to go back to, I read the whole, because it's not a long book, and I read it and then I didn't really get it at first. So I did, but then I didn't. And then I had to go on YouTube to get the summary of it, and then okay, that's easier now.
It's easy to just go on YouTube rather than read it.
But reading helps, because then you know it. You know, it's definitely read. Don't rely on YouTube.
And of course, podcasts.
Podcasts as well. It helps. But no, I love the word. I can't live without my word. But no, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for educating me on the possibilities of being a feminist and a Christian. I really appreciate that, and because for me, it's not me doing this podcast. It's not about changing my mind. It's about opening my mind. It's about me understanding. It's like, true.
Because as a Christian, we do, but like, you know, love thy neighbor as yourself. You know, you should love your neighbor as much as you love yourself. And I think to have gender equality, that's what it's all about. We respect each other, and it goes both ways. There's no one that's above the other. Okay. That's probably easier way of explaining it.
So you support same-sex marriage as well?
When you say support, like for me, I think same-sex, if they want to get married, it's really their decision. It's not that I support it or don't support it. It's their right. Like, to me, if they want to have, the thing is, they want legal recognition. Like, I believe in the legal recognition, and they have a right to have a legal union. But to have it in the church as a Christian, maybe not.
There we go.
Our institution we have our own definition of institution of marriage within the church, and I think a lot of our members from the LGBTI community that have gotten married, they know this. They know this.
Yeah.
You know, and they know that what they want is legal recognition. Like if they die and they've built a life together and they've got properties and investments,
Yeah.
their partner won't be recognized as their lifelong partner because they don't have a legal union. It'll go to like their parents or their family who have disowned them.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's fair on them.
Right.
I think they should have a right to legal recognition.
Yeah.
But to have it recognized in the Christian church,
Nah.
it's definitely not.
Yeah,
You know?
that's true. Yeah, I agree. And but again, I don't speak out against the. I'm entitled to my own views, and I keep them to myself because I don't want my views to put someone else at risk. Because what if my good friends who are gay said to me, "Oh, I'm gay. I want to get married," and then I'm like, "Oh, you know," and I say something, and then they go and harm themselves. I couldn't live with that, and I don't want to put anyone at risk with my views, and don't put me at risk with your views either. So,
hey, but you should have views.
yeah, but definitely, and I don't think that. I think. Yeah, I just don't. Live your life, be happy, speak your truth.
That's
and
right.
If that's what you want to do, then I love you for that.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
exactly. Yeah.
Thank you. Wow, what this went like. It was supposed to like stay here, but it went all the way out to that, and I love that. Thank you so much. Do you have any advice for any young Fijians who have just moved to New Zealand and are struggling to fit into New Zealand society or any Western society?
I think I can only share from what I've experienced. I know if you've moved across, you might feel alone. You might feel a little bit lonely because you don't know anyone, and you feel overwhelmed that you might have to make new friends. And the only advice I can give you is look for information, go out there yourself, and find out what's available in New Zealand, because New Zealand has, there's so much support in New Zealand to do basically anything, whether you want to start a business, you want to look for work, you want to take a student, whatever it is. So I had to really put myself out there, and I got to join Amnesty International in Auckland because I'm an activist at heart. I'm very passionate about human rights, and so I needed to be around that, around people that share the same views as me. So I just went out there and I, searched up and see who I could join, groups I could go to. I put myself through. There was when I first came last year. It was called Future, and it was a big convention done in Wellington, where it brought together a lot of young people around across New Zealand. That want to do a social enterprise. That's something that I'm interested in the long run, which is a social enterprise is really to solve a social issue by doing business entrepreneurship, and I just put myself in those spaces. So really don't just stay at home and feel that that's all New Zealand has to offer. Like, go out there, you can be whatever you want to be, and you can set up your goals. There's a lot of support. Like, that's one of my main advice. And
can they reach out to you if they need help to link
they can reach out to me. You can add me on IG, you can add me on Facebook, and I'll be more than happy. Like, we're always happy to see fellow Fijians that have come over. And I think with the Fijians that have resided here for a longer period of time, they kind of look down upon the Fijians that have just moved across, so you've only been here for a year. I've been here for 10 years.
So someone's well, not every, but a few someone's can be like that. Like we refer to them as fobs. If you're fobs, and which is a really messed up thing to say. I'm very guilty of saying that.
It'd probably be fobs. Because fresh off the plane.
Fops, there we go.
Not the boat.
Fops, and also if you're Fijian and you're a male and you're 30 plus, no, I'm kidding.
Get in contact.
Send me your CV. No, I'm kidding. But thank you so much. Thank you for making time. I've really enjoyed talking to you, and I love you. You're so beautiful. You make it look so perfect. I love it, and I hope we can be friends forever. Like I was saying to Tessa, I'm really glad that I came across and meet you, because
I'm so happy. I love the fact that
you're my first Fijian.
What?
Oh my gosh!
I feel so special.
Yay! Wow, you're my first Fijian. Oh, sorry,
on Tima Talks.
Yeah, on the podcast.
I just.
Oh no! Chanel was my favorite, but you're my first Fijian female. Lewa. There we go.
I have a lot of deep respect for you. I love women that you're doing what you're passionate about. you're doing podcasts and you're telling stories, and you're not earning any money out of this. You're purely doing it out of passion, and that's what advocacy is all about. Like,
thank you.
You know,
I really do. Do you like it?
You do things, and you're helping people by letting them tell their stories.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's so crazy. Everyone that I've interviewed on the podcast always thanks me, but I've been doing this for years. I've been doing this for 5 years. That's not years, but I've been doing this talk shows for 5 years. And every time I did a live audience type show, no one ever acknowledged me. No one thanked me.
Yeah.
I remember I emceed for an event, and there was about 200 people there, and I interviewed all these academics, and I never even got a thank you from the organizers. I think I got a thank you through Snapchat. The guy Snapchatted me and he was like, "Hey, Shot Team, thanks for that." And I thought, but never. And it wasn't until I created Tima Talk, well, it was called Live Talks at the time, but Tima Talks, and I created a space like this that people really appreciated it. And I was like, wow, God, this is where I'm meant to be.
Yeah,
this is how it's meant to be.
Purpose,
like, just humble, mic, camera, done. Like, nothing too fancy.
You are showing real lived stories.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what I was doing before.
Yeah, stories, you know?
I love that. Thank you for that. It's very encouraging because it does get hard, but that's really encouraging. And thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Vinaka, vaka, can you share some words of inspiring words in Fijian or anything in Fijian? I want to hear your language. It's beautiful.
Anything in Fijian?
Yeah, anything. Don't swear at me.
Baby Vinaka, baby Vinaka ngabe kem ni warungo di kiro chukumai na yakab ni kua. Vinaka na levu na bitokoni, Vinaka na levu na biru rogodi. Okay, leti ko nga ni menda reda chiko nandang ngone leo ibale menda warungo di ira. That's something that I'm very passionate about, and menda suleve na nandang ngone leo men dona ka rabetu kuna. So lewa era na ngalala, Vinaka levu.
Vinaka vaka levu, thank you.